When large equipment is used in construction or mining projects, we naturally expect the process to go smoothly and professionally. But what happens when heavy machinery operators make mistakes that leave us shaking our heads? From excavators falling into the holes they've dug to cranes collapsing buildings they were meant to help, these errors often lead to disasters, and occasionally some laughs. Take this piece of heavy equipment, for example. Instead of completing its excavation work, the excavator slowly rolls backward into the pit with its shovel still poised for digging. The operator inside is helpless to stop the ridiculous turn of events. Moving large rocks is always risky when done without precision. This was almost the tragic fate of a red-clad operator. A white excavator was transferring a massive rock into a much smaller haul truck. But when the rock landed, it caused the yellow truck to tip over on its side. Luckily, the truck operator jumped out just in time, narrowly escaping death. Another close call happened to a sanitation worker. While moving trash into the back of a garbage truck, a sudden burst of smoke and sparks ignited a fire. The worker ran for his life, managing to escape even though he fell on the asphalt in the process.
Sprayed onto the exhaust from a burst line. Fortunately, the fire was short-lived and the driver is complete.
In another case, a yellow piece of heavy machinery slipped when its left wheel fell into a ditch. Whether due to a lack of focus or poor planning, the operator should have had a clearer sense of how to maneuver and complete the task to prevent the truck from tipping over. In the scorching heat, two Komatsu units were casually working on their respective projects. However, the bulldozer at the end suddenly plunged into a pool of water. It's unclear what caused the heavy equipment to slide down. Was it due to the operator's negligence, losing focus, or perhaps the bulldozer itself malfunctioned? After this incident, the bulldozer was eventually pulled out with the help of an excavator and a larger Komatsu bulldozer behind it. Not only did it fall and slip, but the operator and the excavator could also get stuck. It seems they were working on a beach reclamation project. However, midway through their work, the excavator got trapped and submerged in the water. Shortly after, several massive bulldozers were deployed to assist, creating a path by piling up sand, allowing the previously stuck excavator to pass through. A giant haul truck overturned in the vast sandy terrain. The cause is unknown, but the operator of the massive truck managed to open the door and jump forward to avoid the accident. Undoubtedly, it would take considerable effort to flip the large machine back to its normal position. This particular piece of heavy equipment seems to be quite fragile and perhaps should be retired to a museum. Just as it was about to be unloaded from its transport truck, the excavator toppled to its side right before it could make a smooth landing on the road. As we can see, the operator made an error in handling the wheels, causing it to tip over. However, slowly but surely, the operator managed to regain control of the equipment. A giant boulder resembling a broken bridge appeared to have collapsed downstream in the rocky river. Initially, the large stone was being cut, but it suddenly tumbled down, causing a massive tremor. On a slippery, snowy terrain, this large truck got into an accident and toppled over on its side. Shortly afterward, efforts to get it back upright finally succeeded, and the truck returned to its normal position. Indeed, winter, with its accompanying snow, remains a daunting challenge for drivers and operators who must stay cautious while working. With its powerful engine, this heavy equipment operated smoothly. There was no need for extra effort to bring down the hill-like ground. Within seconds, the land swiftly collapsed downward, prompting the operator to back away to avoid the landslide. This feller buncher from John Deere got stuck in the middle of fallen tree branches. It seems the feller buncher encountered issues during tree cutting operations and became bogged down in the muddy terrain due to the heavy workload. The solution? The iconic green heavy Machini was rescued by an excavator from behind, which used its scoop to pull it free. This tree cutting operation turned out to be quite dramatic. How could it not be when the midsection of the tree being carried suddenly lifted part of the heavy machine's vehicle? This happened because the weight of the tree exceeded the operator's expectations. As we can see, the telehandler wasn't adequately equipped to carry such a heavy load. Still on rough terrain, this heavy equipment provides quite the spectacle to watch. How could it not when the excavator's maneuvering looked like a child's toy being played with? Nonetheless, it's clear that excavators are designed to move and perform reliably in any terrain. The machine plunged into the dirt, accompanied by wheels that could rotate in all directions. Suddenly, Derek collapsed and fell. Fortunately, there were no casualties from this incident. However, the surrounding buildings did suffer significant damage. The exact cause is unclear, but we can assume it was likely due to operator error, an overload, or strong winds. Was this a strategy error or a planning mistake? Honestly, this incident just leaves us shaking our heads. How could such a tall truck manage to squeeze through a tunnel with such a low height clearance? Was taking the toll road too far of a detour? Will this collaboration yield success? It's possible, but one thing is for sure. They've worked as hard as they could to get out of the sand trap and move forward with their high-risk task.
Анатоль.
Brave! That's the word to describe the situation of this massive truck climbing uphill. Climbing on one side, it truly tested the operator's skill to conquer such terrain, and just when they succeeded, there was yet another hill waiting for this extraordinary truck. It turns out lakes can be dangerous places for heavy equipment operators as well. As seen, this excavator slowly started sinking. Luckily, the operator was quick enough to exit the door and make it out safely. As the machine continued sinking, the operator climbed onto the remaining parts above water, like the wheels that hadn't yet been submerged. It's unclear whether it was a leak in the cargo ship or an overload, but for sure, extra effort was required to save these heavy equipment units. The ship was carrying bulldozers and excavators, and they had to wait a long time at sea for help to arrive. This tractor is working hard to get out of the mud trap. The rear tires appear to be sinking quite deep, making it difficult for the operator to move forward. Challenging, that's the word to describe the situation of this truck daring to navigate through a narrow road. The operator should have taken a safer route. While making a turn, the truck's body brushed against a local resident's plants. In the middle of the busy traffic in China, a cargo truck caused quite a commotion. How could it not? Thousands of bamboo poles being transported by the truck suddenly fell and scattered all over the road. A black car ahead of it was hit by the falling bamboo as well. As a result, the previously busy traffic quickly turned into a traffic jam due to the accident. This medium-sized bulldozer suddenly flipped over. As the operator was reversing, it turned out the ground sloped down, causing him to lose control. Finally, the operator opened the door and quickly got out. The excavator, which was lifting a tree trunk, seemed to sway as it tried to move the massive tree trunk. Even so, the operator continued to work hard to maintain control.
Kayak ini